I hope you enjoyed Chasing Frames, our Bat Blitz episode. It was definitely a way of getting out of my comfort zone, I think, going ahead and shooting that episode. But afterwards, when I come back after shooting something like that, I jump in and look at some ideas of how to process these images afterwards. I end up shooting like here, we're in the dark and we're using just a single light source, and I might scroll through my images, pull one that I like. I like this one. I'd shot this again using just a small light. I think we used from a headlamp and then maybe the Westcott ice light, a light that we added to be able to better see the subject. But if I'm looking at this image, I'm noticing a couple things that if I were in an ideal situation, I would have set up. Obviously, we're out here shooting in the dark at a higher sensitivity to light, making sure that we can get as much in focus as possible. But afterwards, there's a couple things that you can do if you want to edit a portrait. That means to get a bit of some more control over it. I always think of what I do after the shot, after I've taken the photographs and I'm looking at them on my screen. I always think, let me create what I would have created if I could have had an ideal situation. So here I'm in On One Photo Raw 2020 and I'm clicking on the edit option and I'm just looking at a couple things that I can do here in Tone Enhancer. It's basically a filter I can add when I'm in On One Photo Raw that allows me to adjust a few things like the exposure, brightening up the image a little bit more, opening up the shadows being kind of where the light falls or doesn't, that kind of shadowy part. You can open up those shadows or you can close those shadows. I'm going to open those up just a little bit because when I open up the exposure, make the image a little bit brighter, and when I open up the shadows to be able to have more of that image show up, I'm also taking out some of the contrast in the image. So I want to bring this back by deepening some of the blacks in the image and making just a couple changes like that. Just that alone makes a big difference. Another thing I do on a lot of my images is crop. I adjust the crop tool in terms of finding a composition that I would have preferred to have taken if I'd had a chance to like simply shoot in camera the way I was seeing the image. So here I'm just going to do a little bit of a crop adjustment, and then the other thing I'd like to do is just change the lighting here around a little bit. If I go in again, I'm adding a filter in edit mode. I have an option of lots of filters I can look through here. You can actually download On One, this whole software package, for free and look at a lot of tutorials that show you what each one of these do. But for me, I'm going to probably go into this sunshine option, which sounds odd considering I was shooting this at night, but it gives this lovely extra feel to it that I would have liked to have been able to provide if I'd had additional lighting with me. And I'm looking at this and I think this sun glow is a really pretty effect. I can lower the effect of it a little bit. And it just changes it from this kind of a little bit more of a drab look to a little bit more of a warm, interesting look. And so when I'm looking at the overall image, before I've done much else, I'm kind of starting from here and I'm going to here. Kind of a cool way to be able to make a difference in terms of what my image may look like afterwards without doing much more other than making some of these tweaks. So we'll have a lot more here on the After the Shot episode. You can scroll up and see from the previously filmed episode and broadcast episodes other After the Shot videos, and we'll have a lot more to come. Thank you.